Story, character, and careful preparation are key elements to any great movie. But let's talk about Suicide Squad, the surprise superhero smash hit box office success of 2016, why it is such an interesting case study into the incredible dangers of giving into social and political correctness for a movie, as well as studio meddling and the fragile art that is movie making. And also why biblical themes always work really well on camera. I'm Ben Davies, this is my review of Suicide Squad. Now, Suicide Squad came to theaters August 4th, 2016. It was made for $170 million, but it grossed $740 million worldwide. Bam. Now, this movie was directed by David Ayer, and let me say, David Ayer is a great writer and director. He has written and directed on tremendous projects like Fury, End of Watch, and Training Day, okay? Great guy. I do not put all my problems with this movie on him. This is an example of studios listening to social and political climate stuff, changing movies and stories and characters to fit what people think they want to see on screen, even though it hurts the story. But that's for later. Let me set up the movie. Basically, a group of unlikely villains are brought out to save the world. We're gonna have a few bad people do some good for us kind of thing. Yeah, that sums up the movie. Let's get into my viewer review. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. I know, why, Ben? Why are you gonna give it a 3 out of 5 if you said it was so bad? Well, there's a few reasons why people will still enjoy this movie. This movie is very unique and interesting throughout as far as the characters. You would never see these people normally on screen together, this unlikely band of heroes. The music is surprising and unique. The way it's shot is very unique. The visual special effects are fun to watch. Score's cool. It's just like a kind of a wow kind of movie. But what really makes it special for people when they sit in the theaters are two performances by two terrific actors. Specifically, Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. She takes a character that is potentially useless on screen. She is literally a deranged clown that is supposed to save the world and makes it the most fascinating and captivating part of the entire movie. So much so she may even get her own individual spin-off. That's how good Margot Robbie was as this character that is a literal cartoon. Margot is a powerhouse, literally the new and maybe even better Charlize Theron, where every role she takes is unique, her presence is palpable, and her preparation is unprecedented. And an example of this is an interview she did with Jimmy Fallon, where there was one scene in the movie that she had to perform underwater, and just for this one scene, she went to work with a specially trained deep sea diver so she could hold her breath for 5 minutes, just so she could do some extra stuff underwater to make it even more impressive on screen. That is a master of your craft. That is the work that goes into it. Margot Robbie is fantastic. I hope she books a lot of stuff. Another thing that people are going to like when they watch the movie is Deadshot, because Will Smith plays Deadshot and he is one of the most charismatic actors in Hollywood, and his performance is no different as Deadshot. He is fun to watch, he is interesting, so those two on camera become like the through line of the story, and people can be drawn and entertained by those people and the spectacle and enjoy the movie. Now for my critic review. I'm gonna give Suicide Squad a 1 out of 5 because there are so many parts of this movie that drive me crazy and that worries me about film and how it can be completely ruined by outside pressure. This is gonna be more of a rant, so bear with me for a second, but the first problem that I have with the movie is all the things it's trying to do. There's 3 stories really going on. You have Harley Quinn and the Joker trying to get together, give you the backstory to care about these two people. It's like their own sideshow of a movie. Then you have this weird mob world that they're in that's also tied in there with Batman and everything going on. Then you have all these new characters that are thrown together trying to save the world. There's like 3 things smashed together. And a lot of that is, well, we have to set up all these other storylines, and then they did reshoots because they felt like you might care about these characters more and they didn't want to highlight certain things. It just became a nightmare. And a lot of these changes were made because of the social climate going on. Screen Rant released a leaked list of changed themes and elements and scenes of the movie that were switched later because of various pressures going on, specifically where it comes to abuse and relationships, as well as some of the unfun things that they were worried about. And so they changed the characters around these lists of things they're worried about from social backlash, basically. And when you do this, when you take out certain elements or backstories or character motivation, you don't believe any of it. All of a sudden, all the things they do on screen, you're just like, why did they do that? Nothing happens because it's justified or it's earned or because you understand what they're going through. It's just like, I'm gonna all of a sudden be good or be bad or do this, do this, do this. And it's just like, it's madness. One of the relationships that was hurt the most by this is the complex one that is originally done between the Joker and Harley Quinn in the cartoons. Even in the kids' cartoons that we all grew up with, you could see the abusive relationship that she's in. She's not in it with the Joker because he's a great guy or really good looking or even that wealthy. She's with him because he's manipulative, he's abusive, and it's a terrible relationship that he controls her in. And that's what they're gonna grapple with in this movie. You never know why she's really with the Joker. You don't believe why they'd be together. It just flashes so quick because like, oh, we have to take all these scenes out where you see him being abusive verbally, physically, manipulative, trying to like control her in every possible way. Oh, because everyone's like, oh, we can't bring that to screen because we might start some controversy, but it would have shown the evil that goes on in these relationships. You could have believed it. You could have understood the motivation, as well as it would have been a great commentary on how people should get out of these relationships are bad and toxic, and here's an example of it. But instead they backed out of it and decided to make it a loving relationship, which made no sense, and it was just so weird to see them on camera together, and it was like flat, just stupid. The structure and situation of the movie itself, though sometimes unbelievable, is not the most distracting part of the movie, and it's not what hurts me the most when I watch this. It is that the changes they made to make every character more political or change screen time or trying to make a point ruins it. None of the moments and changes in the characters make sense. I'm not talking about like plot holes where it's like, oh, I believe this character, but how'd they get there that fast? Or how did they know this ahead of time? Like, those are plot holes. These are character holes that make zero sense because you can't, there's no motivation or reason for them to do it. And let me give you a few situations specifically where it shows this. Okay, so this specific scene takes place right at the halfway point in the movie where there's a no turning back moment. These villains are all villains and been doing bad stuff for a long time, but they're all called out and forced to be on this mission to save people against their own will. They don't want to save anyone, okay? Now, the leader is Deadshot, and his whole backstory is somewhat noble, where he's doing everything for the sake of his daughter. Then, at the halfway point, Harley Quinn abandons the entire group. These random misfits have known each other for about 6 hours. She's running away, and Amanda Waller comes up and is like, okay, Deadshot, if you shoot her, I'll give you your freedom. Your daughter can get whatever you want. He then, in that moment, decides not to shoot her. Why? So your whole point is to save your daughter. In this moment, you can by shooting a criminal. And you don't. And then Boomerang turns to him and he's like, yeah, good on you, mate. Which makes no sense either for his character. In his opening sequence, he kills his criminal partner. He kills his partner, which Harley Quinn is his partner in this, because he wants more money. And yet, good on you, mate, for not killing this girl when we needed to and we could get out of this whole situation. Why? And you'll see this happen throughout the entire movie, where they tried to change the situation to make the villains are not actually bad people. Though they do bad things, and though they kill a bunch of people and they steal and rob, they're good people, but the good guys are bad guys. Please care about the villains is basically what they're trying to do the entire time. Now, okay, so for my favorite review, I'm still gonna give this movie a 2 out of 5. Biblically speaking, we're never too far away from redemption. You see these criminals in this movie that have done some really horrible things, but they can be redeemed. There is hope. In the biblical sense, you can never be too far gone for the Lord not to bring you back. And this movie definitely has some elements of that. See Romans 23:3. For all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God, and we are all justified freely by His grace through the redemption that came by Jesus Christ. Now, one of the only emotional elements of this movie that lands is Deadshot's character that they reshot to give him more of a backstory. You see him struggling to take care of his daughter. He wants to be there for her, but because of his life and his mistakes, he can't quite be there for her yet. But he surrenders himself to try to be a good example to his daughter. He then uses his gifts that he was using for evil to protect other people, to save the world, as well as take time off his prison sentence and protect and take care of his daughter in the future. However, Diablo is the best example of this. A man with a lot of power and a lot of corruption, loses control, kills his entire family, and because of that, he never wants to use his powers again. He knows he can't undo the past, and he lives with that shame. However, he also finds redemption, and this protects him from Enchantress. At one part in the movie, Enchantress is manipulating people, trying to make them see what they want to see. Everyone falls for this except for Diablo, because in his dream, he sees his family alive, and that's all he wants. But he knows it's a lie. He can't change the past, he can't change what he did, but he can change the future. And what he does is he sacrifices himself for the others, and he finds redemption. Now, this really worries me. I hope other movies don't fall into the same traps this movie did, where they try to change characters and backstories that would make them more complex and believable because of politically correct reasons. It is still a fun movie to watch, however, it could have been a lot better, and yeah, let's hope it doesn't happen in Justice League. We'll find out in a week, won't we? I'm Ben Davies for The Real Rebel Review. Alright, if you like this video and others like it, please consider becoming a premium member to The Rebel. That way you'll have first access to Pure Hollywood and the entire Rebel lineup.